Inflation is sitting at 4.2%, the highest in 3 years. So if you have $10,000 sitting in a bank account, inflation just stole $420 of your purchasing power. But a small group of people is getting richer of those same 4.2%. They're not doing anything illegal, they're not even doing anything complicated, they're just playing a game that you're not participating in yet. I'm DC Roth from the Bureau, and over the last few years, we've educated more than 3 million people on finance, geopolitics, and crypto here on YouTube. And today, I'll show you 5 methods wealthy people use to turn inflation into profit. One of them sounds completely backwards, but it makes the biggest difference of them all. Now, before we go there, you need to understand what's truly happening when prices rise, because most people get this completely wrong, and that mistake is exactly the one that costs them money. The biggest myth is that inflation means prices go up. That's the complete wrong way of thinking about it. The truth is much simpler. Inflation means your money can buy you less. Effectively, you have less money. The stuff didn't change, right? The eggs are the same eggs, the house is the same house. What changed is the value of the paper you're holding. Imagine an entire economy with only $10 and 10 houses. One house costs $1. Now we print another $10. Suddenly, we have $20 but still 10 houses. So now each house costs $2. Did the house get more valuable? No. All the dollars in the economy share the same pile of stuff. So when we add more dollars, each one simply buys a smaller slice of that. In other words, the dollar just got weaker. That's roughly what happened in 2020. When the pandemic hit, the system flooded the economy with new money through stimulus and bond purchases. The US money supply expanded dramatically in a very short period of time, and the people who understood that simple mechanism didn't wait for official confirmation, they moved early. Because once you understand inflation, you stop asking how much cash you have and start asking what assets you own. And that's exactly why wealthy people play a different game. Which brings us to the first method. Method 1 is the oldest wealth machine in history: real estate. 25 years ago, the average American home cost around $160,000. Today, it's over $400,000, and one man built an entire empire on exactly that, long before he ever touched politics. In the late 1970s, New York City was nearly bankrupt, and property was cheap because everyone was scared. A young developer named Donald Trump bought a crumbling hotel next to Grand Central Station with almost none of his own money. Nearly all of it was borrowed. Then came the Trump Tower following the exact same playbook. While inflation was eating everyone's savings, it was also inflating the value of his buildings and shrinking the real weight of his loans. Decades later, he summed up his entire philosophy in one sentence: "I'm the king of debt." Which sounds insane until you understand method number 2, because owning the asset is only half of the story. The other half is the one that feels completely backward. Wealthy people buy assets with debt. And I know how that sounds. You've probably been told your whole life that debt is dangerous. And it can be. Trump himself nearly lost everything in the early 90s when billions in casino debt almost crushed his entire empire. Credit card debt at 20% interest will also eat you alive. But cheap, long-term debt during inflation, that's a completely different animal. Take Elon Musk. For years, the richest man on the planet paid himself almost no salary. So how does he buy anything? He borrows. Tesla's own filings show he has pledged tens of millions of his Tesla shares as collateral for personal loans worth billions. Think about what that means. He doesn't have to sell the shares, so he doesn't trigger the tax. The shares keep rising with inflation, while the loan stays frozen in yesterday's dollars. So he gets to spend money today and pay it back with weaker money tomorrow. And here's the logic behind this. If inflation runs at 4% and you can borrow money at 3%, the money you pay back is worth less than the money you actually borrowed. So in other words, the bank handed you strong dollars and you hand them back weak dollars. And even better, inflation is paying off part of your loan for you. That's exactly the window that opened in 2020 when interest rates hit rock bottom. And it wasn't just billionaires anymore. The biggest companies in the world started borrowing too. Apple borrowed money while sitting on a cash pile of around $200 billion, the richest company on earth. That's the difference between how wealthy people see debt and how everyone else sees it. Most people use debt to buy things that lose value. Wealthy people use debt to buy things that rise with inflation and then let inflation shrink the loan. Method number 3 is the oldest one in the book: gold. Now, gold has one job. It holds value when people stop trusting everything else. When the future looks scary, money runs into gold. It happened in 2008, it happened in 2020, and earlier this year, gold hit an all-time high above $5,000 per ounce. Ray Dalio built the largest hedge fund in the world, and he keeps gold in his portfolio for exactly this reason: protection against governments printing too much money. He has a famous line about it: if you don't own gold, you know neither history nor economics. And history backs him up. Well, the dollar lost over 90% of its purchasing power in the last 100 years. Gold multiplied more than 40 times since the 1970s. Now, gold has pulled back hard from its high this year, and that's the lesson most gold bugs will skip. Gold doesn't go up in a straight line. It goes up when trust goes down. Now, let me be honest with you. Gold is great, but it's not my favorite, and here's why. Gold is a passive asset. That means it sits in a vault and shines. A rental property pays rent. A business sells products, but gold produces nothing. It just protects your wealth. It doesn't grow it. Method number 4 is a new version of the same idea: Bitcoin. And look, I spent years making crypto content before on this channel, and I've been through multiple market cycles. I've made money in crypto and I've lost money in crypto. So when I tell you this, it's not a theory. In May 2020, while the Fed was printing trillions and trillions of dollars, the billionaire hedge fund manager Paul Tudor Jones, one of the most respected traders alive, sent a letter to his investors. He called what was happening the Great Monetary Inflation and announced he was putting a piece of his fund into Bitcoin. His reasoning was simple: fixed supply, it can't be printed, and in a race against money printing, Bitcoin is the fastest horse. It's basically digital gold. And he wasn't wrong. In the crash of March 2020, Bitcoin fell under $4,000. 30 months later, it hit an all-time high. The people who bought before it was on the news made fortunes. But the people who bought because it was on the news mostly funded those fortunes. But Bitcoin is not for everyone. It's a violent inflation play. Bitcoin can easily drop 50%, and it has several times, which is exactly why Tudor Jones kept it small, a low single-digit slice of his fund. Big enough to win if he was right, but small enough to survive if he was wrong. And here's how far this has gone. Almost everyone in this video now holds at least some Bitcoin. Elon Musk does, Dalio does, even though he prefers gold. Even Trump went from calling it a scam to embracing it completely. The only one who refuses is Warren Buffett. And his reason is the same one I gave you about gold: it produces nothing. And that brings us to method number 5, my favorite: stocks. When you buy a share, you're not buying a lottery ticket, you're buying a piece of a business. That's why they're called shares. You own a share of that machine. And nobody understands this better than Warren Buffett. In 1972, he bought a chocolate company called See's Candies right before the worst inflation decade in modern American history, and it became one of his greatest investments ever. Why? Because every single year, See's raised the price of its chocolate, and the customers kept paying. Buffett even said it himself: during inflation, the best business to own is one that can raise prices without losing customers. That's the entire secret of stocks as an inflation hedge. So when prices rise, companies raise their prices too. The coffee chain charges more for coffee, the phone maker charges more for phones. Revenue rises with inflation because the business is on the other side of every price increase that hurts you as the consumer. So as a shareholder, you just switch sides. Instead of paying inflated prices, you simply collect them. Think about 2020. The stimulus money flowed straight through people's hands into the revenues of the biggest companies in the world. And from mid-2020 to mid-2021, the S&P 500 rose nearly 40%. That's not normal, and you shouldn't expect it every year, but it shows you the basic mechanic. When lots of new money enters the system, it usually ends up in assets. The only question is whether you own the assets it flows into. And that question brings us to the one principle behind every single method in this video. Trump held buildings. Musk holds shares and borrows against them. Dalio holds gold. Tudor Jones bet a slice on Bitcoin, and Buffett holds businesses. 5 different methods, but it's all the same move wearing a different outfit. Wealthy people buy and hold assets. That's the entire game. And here's the part that matters for you. You don't need millions of dollars to start. You can buy a piece of the entire stock market with the cost of a pizza. The wealthy aren't winning because those methods are locked. They're winning because most of the people never decide to start playing. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to let us know in the comments. And if you want to understand exactly how to avoid an economic crash, because there is one coming, definitely check out our deep dive right over here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.